Yes, so good morning, everyone. Like I said, I'm Baptiste Garaialde. I work for Palladium, and I'm the technical manager on the Gadget program. Thank you for being here today, in person or online. So today, so the agenda for today will be to give a brief introduction to investing in Ghana and how the how the Gadget program falls into this. Then look at the sector strategies we've developed and look also at the intervention areas for the project. If there is time at the end, we will do a short Q&A, but I think that might be at a later stage. No. So, introducing Ghana. Sorry, I'm new with this. So just as some of you may know, since 2010, for most of the past decade, the government of Ghana has developed a very ambitious industrial policy looking at diversifying the economy and pushing for the industrialization of the country. It has published or passed several policies and regulatory frameworks that try to help the country in its development path. Some of these policies include a industrial policy passed in 2010, the GIPC Act of 2013 to boost FDIs, a push also for industrialization through some export processing zones, and a push also for industrialization across the country with the One District, One Factory initiative of 2017. This is some of the many different policies that the government has passed. Okay, so sorry, there's some charts are not appearing, but basically over the past 10 years, Ghana has seen a sustainable growth and a large increase in FDIs. These FDIs, however, show some volatility and are often linked to specific sectors like oil and gas, for example. As well, the government policies have seen some success, but some of them have also fallen short of obtaining their objectives, and all of this means that today the level of investment required by the government of Ghana to implement its agenda for industrialization is not at a high level and sustained enough to be accomplished. So that's where the JET program comes in. Our aim is to support the government in the industrialization and economic diversification of the country to address structural economic challenges. Our objective over the next 5 years is to create 15,000 quality jobs and to stimulate over 50 million pounds in private investment. So to do this, to achieve this ambitious target, we've defined 4 interconnected components to drive industrialization. The first one, and the most important one, is the accelerating anchor investments. Here, the idea is to build a pipeline of potential investors and work with them to identify some of the bottlenecks that hinder their investments in Ghana. This is a concept that has been used by BCG in other countries with success, and that BCG will hopefully present a bit later and implement in the country. The idea is to really stimulate more and bigger anchor investments into Ghana. The second component, which is equally as important, especially for a sustainable and inclusive growth and industrialization in Ghana, is to build the capability of the domestic firms. This will be a win-win scenario where anchor investors, multinationals, come to Ghana and have access to a well-developed supply chain that will allow them to provide cheap and quality components, and for the local private sector to have access to large clients and new export markets. The third component is supporting industrial policy development. This means working closely with the government of Ghana to identify bottlenecks, to identify issues that block anchor investments in the country. And the fourth one is to build a more enabling environment for stakeholders. So this is more around the ecosystem, with the idea that we can work at increasing cooperation between programs, between institutions, to address some of the key issues that block investment in Ghana, such as access to electricity, access to skills, access to finance, and so on. So now, looking at the sectors that we've identified, because we can't go through the entire economy of Ghana, we had to identify 3 priority sectors that we see as the ones with the most potential. Why did we take a sector-first approach? This is because we believe that investments primarily take place within rather than across sectors, and that each sector has a unique investment landscape. So to define these sectors, to choose these sectors, we developed a list of criteria that were then divided into 2 axes. One is the right to win, so basically, what is the advantage for a company to come in the country and in that sector? And the second one is the potential for impact. So impact is economic, social, and environmental impact. So you don't see, the problem is that you don't see some of the graphs, unfortunately, I'm sorry. And so having this list of criteria in consideration, we worked very closely with the government of Ghana, with the British government, with private sector actors and associations in Ghana, with our partners like BCG, to select 3 sectors that we saw as having the most potential for development and for impact in Ghana. The first one being automotive. The second is garments and textiles that we see as one sector. And the third is pharmaceuticals. If we look at automotive, so the automotive sector in Ghana benefits from a really strong dynamism at the moment, thanks to the policies put in place by the government of Ghana. The government is really one of the most proactive government in Sub-Saharan Africa to attract key investors in the automotive sector, with the aim to make Ghana a manufacturing hub in automotive. This includes enabling business environments, passing some legislations to limit some tax and bottlenecks in importing components, and so on. The results have been quite positive so far, and there is a lot of potential. Volkswagen has, for example, already invested in Ghana, and other OEMs have shown potential interest as well. Ghana also benefits from a low labor cost compared to other African and manufacturing countries in automotive, and an increasingly skilled labor. So in terms of the potential for impact and what JET will do to support Ghana, the first is to become a fully integrated and competitive auto manufacturing hub within the region. Second will be to generate highly skilled jobs with potential spillover effects in other industries. And third will be to provide a well-developed industrial park for vehicle assemblers and component manufacturers to co-locate for efficient supply chains and logistic management. For investors, this means that within Ghana at the moment, in the automotive sector, there are some very interesting opportunities, for example, with existing investments that are ongoing that investors could join and where results could come out quite quickly. There is also a true potential in export across West Africa with the ECOWAS agreements, and potentially later across Sub-Saharan Africa with the African free trade agreements. There's also, at the social level, a high potential for job creation in Ghana. So as Palladium and BCG, to be able to reach that impact, to achieve our objectives, we've, for the first year at least, already developed 4 interventions within which we have also ideas of implementing activities. The first one that I mentioned before is the Investment Accelerator Mobilization. This will be led by BCG, and this basically, very shortly, includes building a pipeline and accelerating deals, working with MOTI and key stakeholders to resolve investor issues, and supporting new and existing investors to scale up. The second one, which is also really important, is the local content development. Here, the idea will be to work with existing anchor investors, such as MNCs, that have been able to invest in Ghana, and to work with them to define what are the key needs that they see as important for them to be able to further develop in country. So then we will identify some of the potential companies in country that have this potential to provide the components identified by the MNCs, by Volkswagen, for example, and work with them to support them in their development and potentially building an investment case to themselves attract more investors. The third one will be consumer market building. So this means that we need to work with the government of Ghana, with the Ministry of Trade, to try and find ways to build a consumer market. So this can be through certain incentives, or as well as policies to, for example, remove used car imports or gray car imports. We will also provide support to the Center of Excellence in Ghana. This is an institution that has been set up, and we will help this institution define its roadmap into how it could become a one-stop shop for any automotive investors in Ghana or players in Ghana that we need information, support, and so on. If we look at textile now. So textile in Ghana benefits from an access into a wide national and international market. Ghana has access to the ECOWAS region and through the AGOA agreement with the US to a multi-billion dollars, $60 billion market for garments. Ghana has also a strong, even though limited, manufacturing base. Ghanaian garments have a very strong reputation for quality and design in sub-Saharan Africa and across the world. The government has also been able to pass some sector-specific initiatives with the support of development partners to really renew the interest in garments and the possibilities of the garment sector to develop in Ghana. We see textile and garments as being together because for Ghana to become a true manufacturing hub, it will need to develop an integrated manufacturing supply chain, where garments and textile will be able to export to the US and European markets, as well as create thousands of jobs. Again, now you can see it, so that's great. For investors, this means that you have a real potential, again, for financial returns, for what we say time to impact, so like quick returns on your investments, because as I mentioned, the government with other partners has pre-COVID already done a lot to support manufacturers to develop. So these are ready to receive additional investments. There is, of course, a high labor potential, especially in textile, with the opportunities of inclusivity as both textile and garments in sub-Saharan Africa or even globally employ a lot of women. In terms of proposed interventions, we've as well identified 4 types of support interventions for at least the first year that we will seek to implement in partnership with the Ministry of Trade and Industry. The first one is the Investment Accelerator, as I mentioned. The second one will be the Textile Investment Readiness. So this means looking at the textile sector, conduct a strategic assessment to define the worthiness of the sector to investors. In recent years, like the garment sector has received a lot of attention The textile sector maybe a bit less. So the idea will be to kind of join the two. We will, if we see like some potential for investors, we will then develop a business case and outline different strategic options for investors to be able to invest in the textile sector. The third one is the garment extension support. Like I said, a lot has been done in Ghana in the garment manufacturing sector. Our idea is to build on what has been done, avoid duplication, but really build on it so that we can support businesses that are ready for investments to either access these investors, to potentially access new markets by helping them in become ready for exports through, for example, meeting certain requirements, or potentially interesting, like high potential manufacturing plants, help them with their business management in terms of operational or financial activities. This is just a few examples of some of the ideas we are looking at. And finally, the fourth one will be to work alongside the Ministry of Trade and Industry and support them in developing existing or planned initiatives, such as the design and the development of a textile and garment industrial park. Finally, the last sector is pharmaceutical. As you can see, pharmaceutical in Ghana is also a very dynamic sector. It benefits from a privileged access to the ECOWAS region. It has a manufacturing base that is ready for investments and that is showing a growing investment pipeline. And with the activities of the government of Ghana, has now a conducive regulation to investments through, for example, a well-established regulatory authority and the provision of attractive incentives for investors, such as tax breaks. So JET will support Ghana to become a reputable manufacturing hub for pharmaceutical products and active pharmaceutical ingredients. We will also support in creating a resilient supply chain and allow for the creation of inclusive jobs. This, for investors, will be very interesting, notably with what we estimated as strong financial returns. Several quick wins as well with the support of existing investors with the government of Ghana that are ready to go in country or that are already in the country, as well as on the social aspect, a link with resilience to crisis. I think the COVID crisis has shown the need for Sub-Saharan Africa to be able to produce vaccines locally so that the countries are less dependent on India or China, for example. In terms of activities, how we will seek to achieve what we mentioned. Again, we have defined 4 areas of interventions from which several activities will be developed. As examples, we have the investment accelerator again. A second one will be to support the government of Ghana in the development of the enclave that it has established in Doha. This can be done through by supporting through technical assistance, customized incentives for new investments, or also support the proposal on investment opportunities and technology transfers through joint ventures. Again, the idea will be to work with the government, the different institutions, with the private sector locally, and with potential investors to see what can be done. What you have here are potential examples. There are many other opportunities. The third one will be related to vaccine technology transfer. We will seek to work with international businesses that are interested to establish a vaccine manufacturing plant in Ghana, see if it's feasible. If not, also work with identifying local SMEs that could be interesting partners to receive the technology transfer. And to do so, we will also build a business case, support them to build their capacities, and support in finding new investment opportunities through, for example, DFIs or other investors. And finally, the last intervention will be investment readiness. There, the idea is to really work with the pharmaceutical sector in Ghana to identify their needs, to see how we can help them, to support them in their development by, for example, connecting with potential buyers of their products, potential suppliers of their products through matchmaking events, e-commerce support, and so on. We will also seek to facilitate technology transfer, exchange between local companies and foreign investors. Thank you.